Hello and welcome to Sullivan's Farm on a beautiful spring summer type day at long last. In this video it is all about the repair and the remedial work. There's a field I need to roll after cattle were in it on that wet night during the week when they give them the silage inside the yard, and I'm going to put up a bit of stock board at the end of the shed, where I think a couple of people have advised me to do that previously, and I'm going to get around to it all going well in this episode. So we'll put on the roller, we'll do that bit first anyway. It always takes me ages to back in because it's hard to see out over the back of the tractor, so I'm not going to show you that bit. It didn't take that long at all. I suppose the little bit of practice putting it on and taking it off the other day helped, so we'll do it now. It's a job I'd sooner not do, or sooner it didn't need to be done, but at the same time there's a kind of a little bit of pleasure in seeing it when it's done as well. So look, we'll have a closer look. If I walked it in advance, I probably wouldn't have done it. It's a little bit spongy underfoot, but there was only the one place where I had to put the shoe down and don't look back, and that was here. You can kind of see it there now, but it's not too bad either. I didn't get stuck, and it just reminded me of something my father said, Jesus, 30 years ago. I did get stuck with the roller in a field that, no coincidence, has been planted with forestry since then. And he said it's sometimes it's only a couple of hours between it being too wet to drive through and not get stuck, and too dry where the ground is, the clay is, after drying out too much and you don't really level out the holes and all those kind of the little divots and that kind of thing. So I just about got it right. Maybe tomorrow morning might have been a better time and it would have been easier then, or safer then, but look, it's done now. I wouldn't have bothered, only for we might be cutting silage off this paddock at some stage, maybe between first and second cut, depending on how grass grows, so at least it'll be level now anyway. If we do, we have the option. Quick word to the neighbour Brian for the loan of the roller. Just a quick word on the tractor as we're coming in there now beside it again. Its next job is to head to the garage and fix that switch on the PTO lever that was given trouble there last week, and I think we're going to change the oil and the fuel filters as well. And I suppose nearly most importantly for the driver, that's me, we might try and get an aerial connected up to the radio. I put a new radio in it, but sure I wasn't able to, or I didn't go about connecting up the aerial, so I'm blue in the face listening to the same few CDs the whole time. So when it's in the garage at all, and if there's a little bit of time, we might even get the radio connected up as well. I got the stock board in the farm relief and rolled it up and left down the seat and rolled it up, so thankfully I didn't have to bring the car trailer, which just makes it a little bit easier. So we'll go feed the calves now. We'll try and line this up for tomorrow morning. I got home, we took out the stock board and then realised it was that size. I measured it and 5 feet would take it from the top of the gate down to just above the ground here. So I don't know what I'm going to do. The measurements were lost someplace in translation. The sheets are 4x8. Somebody told me they were 5x10. So I need to figure out something of a plan. Does it need to come down to the ground here, or is it enough to just cover the gate? If you have any comments, throw them into the comment box below and let me know what you think. So as a contingency, it is all about the contingencies, and we'll get to another one there in a minute. I shifted the Angus calves down here, the bigger bull calves down here, so there's a kind of a breeze comes in around there the odd time. So I put the Frisian heifers up in the corner so that they have a little bit more shelter. Now they still get a bit of the sunshine in the morning. When the sun rises, it kind of rises up in that direction towards Waterford City, and it sets in that direction towards Dungarvan. Rises in the east and sets in the west. So they get a bit of sun in the morning. If the sun ever appears again, it's gone cold and kind of overcast today. We need to figure something out. So if you have any ideas, please throw them into the box below. The other contingency, or the other thing I tried, and I'm not going to go ahead with it, is the once a day feeding for the calves. I'm doing a U-turn on that. I did it for 2 evenings, and for the most part it works for the calves. But, and it's so obvious, the stuff I'm going to say now that wasn't obvious to me 2 days or 3 days ago. I was going from, say, heating 150 litres of water twice a day, or say 75 and 75 to 150 all in one go. And I had to get a different blue barrel because I've only one heater, and I didn't want to get a second heater so I could feed the same amount in the two barrels and that. So that was that. That kind of threw me a little bit. Doesn't take much to throw me. And then I was carrying out, say, before when I was doing it morning and evening, I was carrying out a bucket in the morning and a bucket in the evening per pen. And now I was carrying 2 buckets, and it was just a little bit more intense compared to the kind of way I like to work. Of the 6 pens, probably 4 of the pens, the calves are very even and they all drink at the same speed. But there's 2 pens where there's a slow calf. Now, they drink all their allocation in the compartmentalised feeder, but there's 2 of them slow. There's no problem with the calves. It's either just the way they suck the milk, or their technique, or their swallow or something. They're just that little bit slower. And that was more magnified and took a little bit more of me standing over to stop the others from drinking it. When I was giving them all the 5 litres in the one go, it's not as noticeable, and it's a little bit easier on man and beast when you're doing it twice a day. So I'm turning around from what I was planning, and I'm going to stick with the twice a day feed. Another aspect of it that kind of didn't really impact me one way or the other was the fact I was saving maybe 15 minutes a day, feeding them once a day rather than twice a day. Like, our dwelling house is 2 minutes of a walk in that direction, and even if I was only giving them milk in the evenings, I was still coming over in the morning throwing the cubes to them, which I think is best practice as well. So I was saving 15 minutes a day across 7 days. That's nearly 2 hours. So like that's significant, but it's not a kind of a game changer type of thing for me either. But it's just not a fit for me at the moment in the various different circumstances and infrastructure and equipment and calves that I have. So it definitely works. It's just not for me. So that's it for this video. We've the bit of remedial work done in this field here. We've rolled it. That gives us the option to cut silage off it in a couple of months' time, depending on grass growth and cattle demand. We nearly have the stock board on the gate for the calves, but if people have any ideas as to how to fix that bit at the bottom, whether to cut the stock board so it fits 5x3 and I buy a few more sheets of it, or there's some other way of doing it, or it doesn't need to be at the bottom, going down to the ground, throw it into the comments section below. And I've done a U-turn on feeding the calves once a day. If circumstances change, I'll change. No better man. But it's just not for me at the moment. So thanks a million for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck.